Hello, good afternoon from here. Hello, Facebook family. Hello, YouTube family. It's an awesome time again in the self love month, and today is day 16. I'm super, super excited that we are together again. And I want to quickly say that please, if you are online, I want you to please just consider telling somebody, inviting a friend, and just sharing this link and letting the notification go around. I believe the notification is out, and I'm so, so grateful for every one of you that is here at the moment. Thank you for being here, and I'm so grateful. This is one of the moments in my life that, especially with regards to today's topic, I want you to imagine that what is happening globally, especially with regards to the social media. A lot of us are going through more crazy moments. And when I say crazy moments, what I'm gearing toward is that a lot of people are showing different things on social media, that when you wake up in the morning and that is all you have to feed your mind on, that is all you have to see, you will have a feeling, an emotion, and a situation and a condition of mind that will make you feel as if you are not in any way getting along with life. I don't know whether it has happened to you that you just keep scrolling, and as you are scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, you don't even see anything good about yourself that you want to celebrate. You are seeing somebody whose daughter is graduating. You are seeing somebody who is traveling to what country. You are seeing somebody who just got a chieftaincy. You are just seeing different in somebody who is celebrating this occasion or the other. So you are just lost in that world, and by the time you are back to yourself, you have just discovered that you have been taken on an emotional roller coaster journey that is coming to drain you of everything that you're supposed to have, that's supposed to keep you, your glow and everything in you around. And I want you to look at it that as humans in life, all of us, we should come to a point where we will to agree that we have sometimes and something in our lives that is really, really what we don't like. And most of the time, when we begin to look at some of those things that we don't really like, it can create a feeling and an emotion of shame, of self-pity, of dislike, and heartbreak, not good enough. Like what I put on a state of not too good enough. It's like you are imperfect. It's like every other person is just getting things okay by themselves. But with regards to every of this feeling of inadequacy or failure that you and I, quote unquote, are having, we should never be oblivious of the fact that these are common scenario of life, that at one point or the other in our journey through life, we will experience such things. And now, how we react and our interpretation of this event and scenario is what is going to develop how healthy, how aware are we with our thoughts and emotion in helping us to take care of that situation or circumstances that we find ourselves. See, emotional, whenever we have emotional heartbreak and what have you, compassion is like the first aid. It's like the first aid for any form of heartbreak or emotional attack or those kind of feeling of inadequacy and experiences that we have through life. And I want us to imagine it that whatever the case is and whatever is happening to us, there are circumstances and situations that we don't have control over. And the earlier we realize this, that there are happenings in life that you and I have no control over, when those things happen to us, we don't get to a state where we start judging ourselves harshly, we are bemoaning ourselves and making ourselves look as if there is actually nothing. Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Kunle. Thank you for joining. I appreciate your time. So I shared it in the runner up before this live broadcast came up, that if there is any time in my life that this was my experience, I would say there was a time in my life when I was to write this common national exam that will qualify your entrance into the university. And for that time and that period of my life, I was just writing the exam, and every other result that I need, those subjects I need just to qualify me to get the entrance into the university, I will never pass those two subjects. So it was a year in, year out experience in my life that I felt I don't measure up, that I was not good enough. And at that point in my life, it got to a state that I started hiding, because I knew when I'm being sent on errand, there are places I avoid, just for one singular reason of the fact that I don't want some people to notice that I'm still at home, that I've not gotten admission, I've not gone to the university. And that plague affected my psyche, affected my lifestyle. It affected everything about my outlook in life, that I became a loner. The emotion was so strong in me that it created an inferior complexity in me that made me feel that every other person is okay. I just have a problem and I don't know what the problem is. And it started affecting my relationship. I started avoiding friends. I started running away from different people that I don't want to have any conversation with regards to that issue. And I remember telling us around the third broadcast, I said that every one of us, we are genius at different capacity. But an elephant, or let me say a bird, that is looking at himself or itself as a failure just because he cannot swim, is doing himself or herself a disservice. Because every one of us, we are gifted at certain and different aspects and areas of our lives. And it is when we don't have this understanding that we go through this emotional heartbreak that is being called this self talk, and this self-judgment thing, and you start to travel down the lane of pity, blame, and judgment. And I tell you, you are not alone. If that has been your experience, I was also there. And I want you to just imagine that what we are talking about today is like a scenario of you just being there for a friend. I want you to imagine if you have a friend that just experienced a kind of situation or circumstances that really, really cause and hurt a state of not too happy, and how do you console that friend? What do you do? So it is so when we talk about this subject of self-compassion, it is a state of you being there for a friend or for a loved one, of somebody that is going through at the moment a situation or circumstances that it is not really, really helping. And you are there to create a kind of balance and helping the person feel secured and being able to carry on. So if we are ever going to understand this emotion and this subject very well, I want you to know that every one of us has this distorted compassion, this distorted perception about ourselves, especially when things don't go the way we want it to go. And I want to beg us that it is okay for you to have that feeling, for you to engage in that self-pity. It is okay for you to have that feeling, but it is not totally okay for you to remain in that state. Because when we talk about the definition of what is health, I remember then in our physical education, and health education is a state of mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And so if you have that state of feeling, if you remain there, that is where the problem lies. If you remain on that state and you're unable to get help, and you don't know how to cue in and step to take to bring you out, you are going to be a victim. And so the first time you notice that trait in your life, is the first thing you have to do is to begin to see what is the first thing that comes to bring you into that place. For me then, I realized it was because I was unable to pass these two subjects. And every time I write that exam, I always feel critical about myself. That the voice I am hearing in my subconscious mind is so loud that I cannot rise above that inner voice to be able to conquer it, to believe that I'm actually not totally useless. And today, I tell you one of the things, what was the step that I was able to take that really, really helped me in bringing myself out of that state. And these are some of the things I'm going to be sharing with us. And I believe that whatever the picture is for you. You will be able to see yourself, and you will be able to challenge yourself and walk towards every of those steps that would make you to treat yourself like the way you are supposed to be, and not being self-critical and not just criticizing yourself. So the first step we are going to take in regards to you getting yourself in a space of self-love and self-awareness and self-compassion is to treat yourself like the way you will treat any other person. It's like, I want you to sit down and imagine, if you go to somebody's house and that person has just been bereaved, or something just happened to the fellow, and it's a very pitiable situation. When you go to that person's, how do you talk, how do you relate with the person? Let's think about it for you. What kind of tone, what kind of voice do we use? Is it cold? Is it harsh? And I want you to imagine it. So when you're able to tell me the kind of emotion and the kind of voice that you're going to use, what kind of phrase are you using? Then you will begin to see how you can also help yourself in this area with regards to self-compassion. That in life, in actual fact, there are many phases that we go through, and it will be very judgmental of you when you compare your beginning with somebody's own middle, when you compare somebody's own Z with your own A. And when you understand and realize that this journey of life, that every one of us has got to take it at our own pace, and we have our own lane, and that this journey that we are all into, there is an assignment that every one of us has been given, and that the definition of the success that you and I is going to lay hold and latch onto, it is not the one that the world is giving to us, because that is the first fundamental platform that is giving us that discordance. That's this tune. When you look at somebody's life and you look at the social media, the way success is described is when you have a big car, you are riding a Bugatti, you are living in the choice island in one of the most expensive places in the country or in your city, and then you have you have everything going on well for you. You have a business that is booming, all what have you. Every of this definition you see, and we are on social media, you have millions and thousands of followership, you have plenty, like anytime you show up on social media, people just just a tweet, the whole place is on fire. As good as this definition is, it is lopsided. It is not real. It does not last. This is not the true definition that will help you to have self-compassion. In fact, as a matter of fact, it's going to begin to create a feeling, a bad feeling about yourself. And that is why I encourage you, one of the first steps you want to do for yourself, if you don't want to remain in that state, is for you to stop taking and hanging yourself over your phone first thing first whenever you wake up in the morning. A lot of us, you can imagine every other person's agenda. Some people have put up an agenda, either through mails, either through text, either through whatever, and they want you to attend to that agenda first thing first in your morning. And if that agenda, if you don't know the context of that agenda, you know what it carries. And if you are not tuned well, that agenda, you living yourself without first taking care of yourself, you are going to discover that you are going to allow that ever feeling, whatever meaning that person attached to whatever message is sent to you, you are going to run with that emotion, and it might even affect how your day eventually ends. You can imagine somebody just irritating you and getting on your nerve first thing first early in the morning, or at work, or your colleague. You already know that if you don't have a way of actually managing yourself and treating yourself and getting yourself in that place where you have that inner conversation with yourself, that actually this feeling that this person wants me to have, I'm not going to attach that meaning to this reaction that I'm getting for this person. You will then be able to rise above it. And so when such thing happened to us, or somebody talked to us in a harsh way, or somebody reacted to us, or somebody gave us a reaction and a look that we don't want, what definition, what interpretation you tie to that feeling is what is going to determine the state you are going to be. And so for me, what I want to encourage us to start doing from now is the first step towards changing the way you treat yourself is to, whenever you start noticing, once you can sight yourself sitting down and that thought starts going on your mind, what do you do? And you begin to notice it and you start feeling bad. You know that is how it happens. So look at you. You see yourself? You said you want to talk, and every time you have been on this air, you have been teaching. How many people have shared your video? You don't even have 1,000 likes. You don't even have 100 views. You don't even have this amount of view. And then immediately you start noticing and you start seeing subconsciousness, and that thought keep making it real to you and bringing that voice again to you, and you want to start believing it. That, come on, think of it. That's true. But one thing you have not realized is that once you agree with that thought, you have agreed with that external voice, your subconscious mind is also going to program that feeling and is going to make it real. It's going to make it strong. So that is why what you want to do for yourself at that point is that you don't want to repeat or make any effort to allow or amplify that voice. Okay, you listen to that voice, but you don't agree with that voice. You treat that voice as if somebody is talking to you, and you are now trying to relate to the person, making an effort to now soften that self-criticism, that critical judgment, but you are now doing it on a compassionate. It's okay. Do you know why? Do you know that this same video you are talking about today, do you know the power of what this video can do in one person's life? Do you know if somebody that is actually going through pain and through one difficult emotion in life is able to listen and learn from this video, do you know what one person can do with this video? Do you know that one person can share this video and this video can be viral? Why do you want to worry with the fact that it's only few people that are here? You now begin that conversation, that self-talk, not on a harsh note, not siding, not standing and believing and stepping into the same side with that thought and what that thing is dictating to you. But you rising above it, rising above the criticism, and now with a compassionate voice and tone, you let the inner compassionate voice that is in you to say those words out, to lead, to keep the glow, and never to silence it. That is the work. That is the work. That is all what you've got to do. That you not agreeing to the fact that you are getting that signal and you don't want to totally ignore it as if it's not coming. Welcome that signal, listen to it, but you don't have to agree with what it's saying. Because when you agree, that is when that emotion can sink you down. It can drain you and it can rob you of your life. I want you to just, I don't know whatever situation in life that has happened to you in the past, that when you look at yourself and you just blame yourself, you feel like this thing shouldn't have happened to me. And you start from that place and you begin to have a dialogue inside of you, a self-talk. When you are conducting that self-talk, I want you to listen to every thought that is coming, that you are not that thought. That is the first thing. That every time thought happens, you are the one, you are observing those thoughts. You, the real you, is the one observing. Those thoughts keep coming. They keep coming. They just keep flowing through your brain like 1,001 thoughts while you are just seated there. The one you now relate with, that is the one that will give power to. And that is why you don't have to agree with that inner dialogue that is criticizing you. So it's like a rocking chair. You sit down on a rocking chair and you are just listening and you are just rocking. So those thoughts are just rocking you and just rocking you and just rocking you. And you are going and moving and moving. But immediately you just halt, stop. And you take charge and you bring your consciousness back to the thoughts. And then you begin to notice that for the while, all the period I've been doing back and forth with those thoughts, you are just been encouraging and aggravating the emotion and the feeling that is not going to bring the wholeness into this problem that you have. So the point I'm making with this point is you sit down and address the concern. Sit down Address the concern. That that criticism that is coming to you, address it. And when you tell the compassionate part of you, talk to that critic, what inside do you see? You will see that you will sound, that compassionate you that is talking now is going to rise above the critic. Is going to rise above that voice that is criticizing. That is, it's like it's going to bring something very hot, and you just bring something very cold. It's just like a tiny light in a midst of darkness. You cannot avoid it. You can still see it. You will see it. That is when you take side with that inner voice of yours to empower what you know is to be right. That it's okay. It's fine. At the moment, I am having challenges in this area. At the moment, I'm not the best in this area. But you know what? I am not only the person going through this situation. Some other people too are having these challenges. Some other people have had this challenge they have overcome. So why will I hate myself? I'm not going to die. What will I do? I will begin to sound okay. I need to go for help. I need help. And when you begin to occupy that space and you begin to elevate and give volume to that compassionate you that is addressing that critic, you will begin to see the difference and the shift away from that critical voice having dominance over you. And this thing is something that you're going to practice every day, because every day you don't have control over what happens around you, over your environment, over your circumstances. You don't know what is going to happen as you step out. You want to go to work, you want to see somebody, you're having an appointment. You don't know what is going to happen. You don't have, but you have a control right inside of you. You have a power inside of you that is sitting there, that is willing, that has everything to be present to help you latch onto what is good and what is healthy for you. And when you latch onto that part of you that is going to help you go through your day, you are receiving strength. And one of the first things you do when you wake up in the morning is to practice meditation. That is sitting down and having a conversation with yourself in an atmosphere of peace, calmness, stillness, and no distraction. And just observe. Sometimes some people get to this state of stillness by just observing nature. Some people just take a walk and just in the cool of the morning or just right in the cool of the evening, just under the tree, and you are just looking and reflecting. And in those reflections, those thoughts that keeps coming, and you begin to see a voice that is rising from inside of you, and you were able to differentiate that voice because you know this is not the normal noise that always rushes over you. And that is the problem that we're having. One of the things that is making us to come to a place where we are self-criticizing ourselves and not giving ourselves the quality judgment that we're supposed to have is because we look too far away into some of those things we thought we supposed to have been. I thought I should have been further off in life than where I am now. I thought I should have been gone farther than where I am now. But because this is not happening now at the moment, I am robbing myself of the peace of the moment. Whereas internally, I have the power to generate the energy that can bring to pass that future that I am looking around, that is looking so bright, and it's like I am not having it now. So if you know the power plant, there is a scenario of the power plant that it does not generate power by its own. It doesn't. Just like the sun, and we see the moon. You know, every time the sun shines and everything, it's just position itself. The moon also position itself in just a way that it can receive from the light, from the radiance of the sun, and you see it's shining. And you say, wow, look at how everything is bright. The same thing with you. That power inside of you that you need to generate every day in, day out, as you wake up out of life, is inside of you. You only need to tune it to the right frequency so that you can be powered up, that nothing can just come and disorganize you. Friends, if there's anything you can seize, it's only the power of now, the moment. And you have to bring joy. You've got to bring life. You've got to bring everything you have inside of you to remain calm and to be able to be sane, because so many things are working outside of you and in your environment just to tilt the balance, just to keep you off balance, and each time you don't do that time, is your self time, your main time, your quiet and balanced time where you receive energy to be able to go through the day. Some of us might be prayer, to some of us might just be quietness and just stillness, to some of us it might just be listening to some music that has the capacity to just elevate our mood and take us away from everything we are feeling. And I encourage you, whatever it is that does that thing for you, you must constantly, as a day-to-day habit, give yourself totally to that thing. Because that is the secret. That is the secret. That is the secret. Because you will never stop. Somebody, you can be angry at somebody because you just went for a lunch now, and because everybody was being served and they served you late, or you were omitted, or you are in a function, and you start judging that experience. You say, is it because I did not wear fine clothes? Or maybe because these guys are, why is it because I'm black? You now start to judge, all those thoughts. The first thing you need to do is to always halt those judgments and always halt those thoughts and those voices that always want to cloud the real you, because the real you want to speak, the real you want to be in charge. And it is only when the real you is always in charge and constantly in charge, that is when you get the right answer that will make that state of wellness, mental, physical, and emotional wellness, into your space. And when you are in that space of wellness, you will function at your optimum best. You will not do a task as if you are being forced to. Your life, you bring life into everything you do. And when you do it, people will know, oh, who did this? There will always be that touch. And so this is what I want to encourage you to, from today. Then practice journaling. When you journal, one of the things you are doing to yourself is like you are emptying your emotion. Some of the time we're having some feeling and some experiences, and we are just like, we just need something to just burst forth in us, or we look for somebody we can just talk to, and it's like you don't have that person near you, or because of this all this crazy thing that's happening around us, you feel like just having somebody to just hug you, to just have that conversation with. Mindfulness, being mindful, will help you. Journaling will help you. Staying in a place whereby you don't allow the social media distraction to overwhelm you will help you. So you can decide on yourself to take charge of what you choose, what to feed on. When you go to social media, depending on the kind of people you follow, you can be expectant of what kind of messages or the kind of thing they are going to speed there. So, but if you don't want to be frustrated, you don't want to be angry, you don't want to overreact, you don't want to be looking foolish after having a conversation, or you are now feeling, I wish I did not do this. The only thing you need to do is to make sure that you, at every time you are in a difficult situation and difficult, you don't judge yourself, you just withdraw. You try and give yourself space. You don't react at that moment. You don't say any word that you will be finding difficult to overcome and forgive yourself over. This is very important in helping us to go through and help ourselves to begin to walk in that state of self-compassion. So, to be self-compassionate is for you to begin to treat yourself kindly, like any other person will treat you. The same way you will treat somebody, you can imagine any treatment you can give to somebody else when the person hurts or when the person is going through a situation. That is how you want to treat yourself. And the moment you start treating yourself like that, you are helping yourself to rising and to keep your self-esteem, to keep yourself, to keep your self-love, to give yourself a kind of worth that will not just make you always feel you don't have what everybody else is. And with regards to whatever thing you lack in life, I want to encourage you, friends, it is just for now. It will not be forever. I want you to encourage yourself that if we can only endure the moment, we can only endure the moment, the present experience we are going through, and just not to give up, and to keep our hope alive, and to continually muster the courage to do one step at a time in improving ourselves. It is a question of time. It is the law that is guiding nature. It is the force and the principle that the earth is operating upon. And that principle is on seed time and harvest time. As long as the earth remains, every feeling, every treatment, every relationship that you give to yourself, you are going to have it. You are going to harvest it. If you don't treat yourself with love, if you don't treat yourself with compassion, if you don't talk to yourself with compassion, if you don't always accept your person and believe there is always room for growth and improvement, you are always going to remain in a place of pain and emotionally hurt and breakdown. And every time you allow this emotion to continue to plague you, you are not going to attempt to do anything out of life, and you are going to remain in the same spot. And that is why when you see some people that have accepted faith out of life, they have believed that nothing again can change. Then, because you have told yourself nothing can change, that change is not going to take place. And that is why you got to forgive yourself and talk to yourself and believe in yourself that regardless of the situation, I believe that I am not the only one going through. We're all in this together. And together, when we don't give up, we will come on the other side and we'll have something to testify. That is just it. That is how it happens, friends. And I hope you do find one or two things out of what I've shared today that can help you actually to begin to give yourself the compassion you need. That when you love somebody, you give the person compassion. When you love somebody, you give the person love. When you love somebody, you care for the person. It is high time we began that process, that journey of being compassionate with ourselves, treating ourselves with him, and not looking ourselves with disdain, with shame, and with every form of dramatic and anger and over name calling. Let there be a healthy self-talk from today with regards to whatever situation and the feeling you are having. I hope you do find one thing or the other that can help you with regards to what we have shared today. And I encourage you to please, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like. If you are yet to subscribe, kindly subscribe and also share this video with a friend and a loved one. This moment we are living in is just for now. We will all come back and rejoice. But we need to help each other. We need to lock our arms together. To those that are frustrated, to those that are going through pain, to those people that are going through a period of process of loss of anything, we need love. We need self-love. We need to keep reassuring ourselves we are not in this only for now, that this is not going to be the end, that there is a brighter picture ahead, and together that picture is going to materialize. And the more you keep that hope alive and you keep assuring yourself, you will definitely come back strong. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. And also, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Thank you, every other person that joined. I'm unable to see your name now. I really, really appreciate you. God bless you. And tomorrow is another day. I tell you, this journey is for 30 days and there is no stopping. The energy is going to go on and on and on. The emotion, the momentum is going on and on. And so I encourage you to please join me tomorrow if you can. Same time, 2 p.m. and live here in the United States, and then 7 p.m. Western African time. I want to see you begin to master and begin to have self-control, begin to have confidence, self-esteem, and begin to have the courage and the belief to knowing that everything can change. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Tomorrow is self mastery. Self mastery. How to master yourself. I look forward to seeing you as we talk on that tomorrow. Thank you for watching, everyone. Appreciate the time. And from here, bye.